Howdy, howdy, Sue Devil here, and welcome to a breakdown and discussion of day one of the Everchosen Spring Invitational, where we're seeing the new Lizardmen and new Skaven units. I'll go over a little bit of the day. If you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend to go and watch it, but I will be summarizing some of the play, some of the units, and some of what we saw. Unfortunately, there was no dwarf play today, but I think there will be some tomorrow, even though none of the players in tomorrow's semifinals and finals are dwarf mains, but I'll explain why I guess near the end when I talk about that. It's fun, I did actually predict Lore Master of Sotek would be actually in England on the couch doing commentary, and there he is, and he was fantastic. They had a lot of technical difficulties in the morning, and he went through a ton of lore, and also him and Janet on occasion did some commentating together. They were really great. It started off a little slow, but then they got into their commentary, and they were very, very good, because Turn and Italian Spartacus are excellent, and you've seen them try to put casters together and try different combinations to see who really works well together. And there hasn't been a really solid second team, even though there's no bad casters that have been in the Everchosen. They just haven't worked like Turn and Italian Spartacus. Janet on occasion and Lore Master of Sotek are fantastic together. They were very, very good. They suit each other because they both actually know a ton of lore. They're both good players. They're both interesting players. And, they're obviously a different personality from Turn and Italian Spartacus, who've already come up with a new meme for the Prophet of Sotek. he's gonna. I think they're gonna call him the Lizard Man or the Skink Moses or something like that. It was pretty funny. So I was very, very pleased with the commentating, even though we had some technical difficulties in the morning. And I'll go over some of the new units and some of the predictions, but I'm happy to see Lore Master of Sotek there. He has fit in perfectly. He's done fantastically, and he really carried the show in the early part when they were having all the technical difficulties, and did a great job. Like, I learned a whole bunch. Every time I listen to the guy, I learn a bunch about lore. So I learned a whole bunch of stuff I never knew before, and so it was really fantastic. Now, as far as the lineup goes, I'll try and get to that. Let me see if I can just find it here. Oh yeah, so the first place is winning $1,500. So this is starting to grow a little bit in value. Like, every time they go, it's $1,500 is not nothing. I mean, it's not life-changing money, but it's not nothing. Like, I could see them, if they keep going with this, it's really going to make a difference. So hopefully we can get to the... where is it? I know it's around here somewhere. There it is. So the matchups are Romulan Dog, who has played before, extremely good player, top 100. I think he's like a top 20 level player. King of the Dead is also a solid player. King of the Dead mains Tomb Kings, and Talaxcalan Soothsayer, who is, I think he's number 7 in the world right now, but he is a top player, former champion, and his play. It's funny, during Janet's and Lore Master Sotek's commentary, Sotek called him, he's like the Terminator, like dun 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 every time he shows up, because he's just relentless, and his play style is really hard to fight against. Rightist, a top 100 player, outstanding. I've seen many videos with him in it because he's such a good player. Indie Pride of Milk and Cookies Total War. Indie Pride's actually a very good player in his own right as well, and he's played in previous Everchosens and done very, very good. But Indie Pride's been around a long time, and I love some of the talk they had about Indie Pride later on, because a lot of people don't realize how good he is. Very, very solid player. And Falcon, who was the winner of Turn's 13 or 12 week long tournament, a huge 32-player tournament, and Falcon is very, very strong. And Falcon is Ericast down here. Falcon, I think, is a Lizardman main, And so you're going to see a lot of Lizardmen from Falcon every chance he gets, obviously. Eric Krastik, who is the last Everchosen champion, who his path through the Everchosen in the fall was amazing, and the finals went to full 5 games, and they were just so intense, so exciting, unbelievable. And Eric Krastik, which I love, he is a Skaven main, and Skaven have been struggling without all their new units. So I was really looking forward to watching Aerocrastic play with all his new fun toys with the Skaven. And last but not least, Professor Pipes, a very solid player as well, very strong. And that's sort of the lineup for the day. Now, there was a lot of technical difficulties because Steam crashed like worldwide, so they couldn't actually connect to play some games. So the first match took somewhere in the area of about, I want to say 2 hours to even get through it. I mean, they were way down to the time to actually get things going. And so I'll switch to the end. If you don't want spoilers, stop now. Go watch it on your own. I'm gonna skip to sort of the end and see if I can't find the final sort of chart and kind of show you guys that. And here it is. So at the end of the day, King of the Dead beat Romulan Dog, which is huge. Romulan Dog's extremely good, and King of the Dead played very, very nicely. Tlaxcalan Soothsayer did a 2-0 against Ritus. There was close games, though. This was not a wipeout. Falcon went on, beating Indie Pride, and Aerocrastic beat Professor Pipes, all 2-0s. But don't let that, they're good games. They're all good games. There was nothing. There were some games some people didn't. There was one game that some people didn't enjoy out of the whole thing, but it was one part of a match. Which is, like everyone has their own style, and I kind of get that game. It was, I think it was Aerocrastic versus Professor Pipes, their first game with the Beastmen and the Wood Elves. It was sort of a bit of Professor Pipes was trying to use a method with the Wood Elves, which is a little bit different. And when I completely understand why you play games like that and why you build armies like that, because sometimes you got to take a risk when someone's a better player than you, or you're in a matchup that's just not quite right. I get it, and we took a risk and it didn't pay off, and the game wasn't really terribly exciting, and there was people in the chat, oh boo, but you know what? I thought it was great. You got to watch those types of games too. So a really fun day. Tomorrow's going to be fantastic. These matchups are all outstanding. Like Tlaxcalan Soothsayer is definitely the strongest overall player is still left. I mean, he's unbelievable. I would have to say, he was the favorite to win it because he's so strong, and he is like the Terminator, right? He's very, very patient as a player, but King of the Dead upset Romulan Dog, I would say, and has played some really good games of really interesting. And one of his games he had to play twice. The first time he sort of looked like he was going to win. The second time he crushed Romulan, and Romulan's a very, very good player. So, I mean, it wasn't a good matchup for Romulan Dog. He was actually playing. It's like I wouldn't say maybe a hard counter, but definitely a counter. So it was a very good game. And, Falcon versus Aerocrastic, this is going to be dynamic and exciting, these two guys going at it. So I'm really, really looking forward to tomorrow as far as that goes. Now, I'm going to go over the units that I saw. Again, didn't see any Dao-E units, but I would expect to see dwarfs tomorrow. I think someone's going to look at this lineup, and they're going to look at the players, and they're going to look at what they played, and they're going to pick the dwarfs as a surprise pick. Now, none of these guys main the dwarfs. None of them. I've never seen Tlaxcalan play the dwarfs, although I'm sure he has. King of the Dead mains the Tomb Kings. Falcon mains the Lizardmen. Aerocrastic mains the Skaven. So this could be an epic first match: Falcon, Aerocrastic, Skaven versus Lizardmen. But all of these factions, are struggle against the Dawi. Like, the Dawi are really strong against the all undead factions. They're strong against the Lizardmen, and they're strong against the Skaven. So I would think someone's gonna pick the Dawi in here as sort of a surprise pick, and they could do very good. Though it could happen that we don't see any dwarfs tomorrow at all. I was hoping to see the dwarfs play so I could look at some of their unit cards and see what changes we see. But obviously have not seen anything yet. Because we didn't have any dwarf mains in this group at all. Like Shetland Apache wasn't there. He's not exactly a dwarf main, but he plays the dwarf slots, and no one here that plays the Dawi really. But I would see these guys looking at who everyone's playing and say, well, maybe I'll pick up the Dawi, as they could be very strong in one of these matchups if I get the right matchup. So we'll go to the unit cards of the Lizardmen and the Skaven. So they did go over these units, and I'll just keep I got the volume right down so that we can actually pick up the unit cards. And I'll say I was actually quite surprised at how good the Giselles were. I thought they'd have 245 range. They have 300 range. Oh my god, and they are good. They really did good today. And Lord Croak. Is he ever good? He is really good. I mean, I could see him being very easy to shut down, but if you don't, that's going to be a serious problem for you. And the rattling guns, I thought there would be about a 90 range. They're 145. We didn't see a ton. Yeah, we saw some, but didn't see a ton. So, Ikit Claw. Now, Ikit Claw, 45 melee attack, 56 melee defense, 370 weapon strength, though it is anti-large and armor piercing. Not really meant to get into a scrap, although he's not going to be completely awful. You're probably going to want to keep him out or keep him mounted. Obviously does have some spells and abilities, and hopefully they go over that. I'll try and stop on some of them. Now, we saw Lord Skrolk today when we didn't see Ikit Claw in every fight, so he's not going to be... It's not likely going to be meta. I would see Skrolk saying meta. We did see as one of some of the new units. Now, these clan Vulcan tail slashers they're the clan rats with shields. Okay stats: 29 melee attack, 31 melee defense. They're shielded. They do fire damage. 55 leadership. I mean, they're better than regular clan rats. Now, they might be niche useful, but they're not altogether that awesome. But I could see them being all right. I mean, they're just a good filler, right? And that's fire resistance 70%, but they don't have anything really, really special that you would see them often. Like this unit here, where are they? The Plague Pack. Now, these guys do make other units immune to psychology, and they have other things that the Plague Monks have. Their melee attack and melee defense, again, are not that good. They're armor piercing and damage dealer, but they have a radius, I think, of about 40 meters, where they make other units immune to psychology, which could be very good, but I think they're going to be expensive, and they don't have any armor, and yeah, they have some... the immune to psychology, 40 meters, demagoguery, and when you look, it's fair size. And I mean, if you have them to the very end in a blob, maybe, but you got to think these units are going to be a target because this unit would be outstanding to have at the very end of a fight. No one's going to let them live. They're going to be expensive. I think they're going to be 1,300, 1,400 gold. I would guess somewhere in there. because I think regular Plague Monks sensor bears are 1100. So yeah, I mean they look good on paper. I just don't think they're going to be great, with the exception of a few niche uses or as a surprise, and maybe there's something somewhere where they can show up and do really really well. This next unit, though, I didn't see these guys. I don't think this unit, the Council Guard, I did see a number of times. This is a solid looking unit. 44 melee defense for Skaven is very good. 29 melee attack. They are anti-large armor piercing, and they have this thing. They're unbreakable, which is really really good for Skaven and anti-large. So they're going to be sitting on the back line defending lords, defending whatever. You're going to see them be very commonly used, I think, because they also have this Guardian ability, which is 18% Guardian against here it is. There, 18%, I think. Yeah. And they're unbreakable. So 18% Guardian and unbreakable. They're going to be a staple unit in a lot of builds because they can really help defend lords. Here we go with the Rattling Gun Weapons team. 145 range. And this whole slow, I thought it'd be 24%. It is 36% how much they slow units. That's crazy. And 339 damage. That is just like that's pretty crazy. So hopefully it goes. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, 30. They suppressed for 10 seconds, minus 36% speed. So it's like having a ranged. Although they are not armor piercing, interestingly enough, I thought they would be, but they are not. It's like having a ranged Dragonback Slayers. No armor piercing like the Dragonback Slayers, but they can do a ton of damage to a lightly armored target. Now, will you see them as the Dowie? Probably not. Because that speed's not going to matter. They don't have armor piercing. You're going to see the Jezzails, but as the Dowie, we're not going to see the Rattling Gun Weapons teams. Unless someone's memeing, or wanting to do a really huge armor debuffs and try and win like that. I can't see them really being used in there. The Jezzails are what you're going to see. I think in a typical matchup against the Dowie. So hopefully they go on here. There we go. Warlock Jezzails. This is what we're going to see. 39 damage, and they have Shield Breaker, so they reduce your shields. And do they have a gold shield or just a silver shield? But they have Shield Breaker and 300 range. Oh, they're going on to Ikit Zap Zap. Ikit Zap Zap, saw that once or twice. Magical damage, again, probably not going to see that as the Dowie at all. There's just no point. It's anti-large. But the idea is that when you use Ikit Zap Zap, this warp lighting cannon, it causes the unit that it hits to have a 10-second increment to all its cooldowns. So I would guess that, it'll be pretty common. Did see it, I think, twice in today's action. Once it got absolutely crushed by Pterodon riders dropping bombs, which is like, I never saw that coming. They have some Pterodon riders will get to them when they go over them. They have the ability to drop bombs that are extra powerful. Essentially, did a great job, almost one-shotted them. But yeah, anyways, back to the Warp Black Jezzails. Armor piercing, 300 range, which is ridiculous. Which is like, really, that's 330 range for a bolt thrower. So I could see in this matchup as the Dowie having to bring a sort of like the Goblobber or something like that to deal with these Warp Lock Jezzails. Or they have a 70 armor. Like, it's not like they have nothing either. Like, even with a gyrocopters are going to be hard because you can't use steam guns very easily on them. So it might be good to bring a grudge thrower so you can outrange them. But the other ones have snipe, which is actually really bad for the Dowie because the dwarfs aren't going to see them at all ever. But I think they might do magic damage, which is I guess one good thing. But these Warpluck Jezzails, you're going to see them in every matchup. So against the dwarfs, they have Shield Breaker and Armor Piercing 300 range, so we got to be ready for them. And you're probably going to see, maybe you might not even see this unit. You're going to see the Regiment of Renown, which has Snipe and Stock. So they did very good today. I saw a lot of builds with one Warpluck Jezzail and one Regiment of Renown, and they look great. They even kick each other. Hopefully we see that animation. They're you see, they kicked his buddy out of the way. This is like Skaven are funny, but yeah, that's Shield Breaker, obviously hugely valuable against the Dao. And where are their regiment? There's a Regiment of Renown, the Rattling Gun. Oh no, this is not. This is a Rattling Gun weapons team Regiment of Renown. I'm not sure what they have that's special, but they don't have armor piercing. Oh, they're anti-infantry. So I guess I think the other ones are anti-infantry too. We'll see if they have anything really special. Suppressed 36% speed. It's the same. What is that? Oh, concealment bombs. So they can just hide whenever they want. Oh, that's actually quite useful. So they have stock and unspottable. So they can get into position quite easily. So they might be able to flank, get into position, and then absolutely murder like your back line. I don't know. You could see these as the Dao because they will be able to get to your back line and get around. I mean, they're not super fast or anything. They're only 38 speed, but I could see it. I could see it. So, I mean, just to shoot Slayers or something like that, right? But they'd be really expensive. There we go. Natty Boobos sharpshooters. These guys were in almost every Skaven build. 300 range. Well, they don't do magic damage, armor sundering, but they have stock and snipe, so they can just shoot unseen. If you got to get close enough to see them, and as the Dao, that's why you're going to see them all the time against the Dao, because I mean the Dao definitely don't get close enough a lot of the times to be able to pick these guys up without a backline unit. So you're not going to be able to target them with artillery. So maybe it'll sort of be standard fare as the Dao to make sure you have one or two Rangers always Vanguard deployed in the back line to look for these guys. Because they're good. They do a ton of damage. Silver shields. I mean, they're only 24 units, so a group of Rangers would take them out incredibly fast. But they were very, very good in today's action, and I think they were in every Skaven build. I could be wrong, but they were just really strong. Now the Regiment of Renown, the Wheels of Doom wheel, I think it's super expensive, but Fear and Terror, it's a Doom wheel. It has a stronger missiles. That's the big thing. The missile damage is 203, armor piercing, and I mean it looks really cool too. But I mean it's a Doom wheel, right? It's just a better version of it. There's not really much to say about it. The big thing is the weapon damage, but the ammunition is magical. So against the Dao, it's never going to be as good, right? And here, these dwarf thing menaces, Doomflayers, were sort of you saw them in a few, and they were pretty good. They sort of do donuts, and they have armor sundering, and they cause fear. And I don't know what this little symbol is. Hopefully, we'll see what it is. But I mean, they're easy to hit, but they're fast enough. 72. Charge bonus of 40. They have 3 of them. It's like a chariot, obviously. It's like the Skaven version of a chariot. You're gonna see them, right? They're armor piercing, anti-infantry. Got to have an answer to these, I think, as the Dao, because they do have that armor sundering, which is a pretty big deal, and anti-infantry and everything else like that. Yeah, armor sundering minus 30 armor, and that's gonna go very nicely with all the other Skaven abilities. Right, and I will see. Hopefully, they go down to what that symbol at the bottom is, the square at the bottom. But they have cool animations, and just it's a cool looking machine. Oops. There, the best defense. Ah, so they have the best defense. It's constant. If they're in melee, they get plus 24 armor, and they have 100 armor already. Interesting. All right. So interesting unit, and there looks like there's a regiment of renown, or this is the regiment of renown. Dwarfling Menace. Yeah, it is a regiment of renown. The regular Doomflayers are just beyond, I think. So they'll go to them next, I assume. Yeah, bonus versus infantry at 26. Holy crap. Yeah, the regular Doomflayer is 95, and they don't have armor sundering. Okay, there you go. So even without that, anti-infantry, 95 weapon strength, 40 charge bonus, you're going to see them. These guys are probably going to be relatively inexpensive. I imagine they're going to sort of... we talked about, I think they're going to come into that 800 gold range, maybe somewhere like that. And, so that's sort of where we see them. I'll try and get onto the Lizardmen units here. I think they're gonna chat about them a little bit, and we'll go over all the Lizardmen units, and then that'll be sort of a wrap up of day one for what are we 204.45. Okay, there we go. So we'll go over all the Lizardmen units. Lizardmen have some really interesting units, and I love their new color scheme. Okay, cohort of skate. Okay, this is the cohort. Oh, I think they're gonna sort of organize all the units here. But these red-crested skinks, I think, could be pretty interesting because they have that armor piercing and they seem to be fairly inexpensive. Yeah. What are they? 25 armor piercing. They have frenzy, 46 speed, 32 melee attack, 27 melee defense. They don't have a lot of armor, but as the Dowie, you're going to need, I think, a little bit more missile pressure against the Lizardmen than before. And this is really neat. They have the refuse to die ability. So for 20 seconds when they hit it, none of their entities can die. Which is actually a pretty cool little ability, a new ability. I think that might be something you see on certain dwarf units in the future. We'll see. But I definitely like them. The cohort of Sotek, the Red Crested Skinks. I think a Regiment of Renown type of Regiment of Renown unit. I love that. I think that they're the right type of unit that they needed. And they got a few really good units like the Lizardmen did. So if you look at the Red Crested Skinks, they do have Frenzy. So their melee attack will be either 31 or 34, depending on what that Frenzy is going to give them 5 or 8 melee attack. And again, weapon strength and pretty decent charge bonus. Low leadership and low armor, though. Like, we are going to see those, though. The Dowie are going to see them. That's why probably you're going to have to look at an extra unit or two in your lineup to deal with them, like just an extra unit of Rangers, maybe an extra 2. 10 and 1. Interesting set of spells. Not much of a melee fighter. Well, he's okay. 55 and 45. He's not great. Weapon strength 400 though. For spellcasters, not terrible. His mounts are pretty good though, and so I'm sure you're gonna see him. Like, he can mount a Ripperdon. He can mount a giant Stegodon with, I think it's special to him or special to this DLC. Star Chamber Guardians, another unit that we're seeing. I think the Dowie are eventually going to get a unit like this, or more like this. Maybe they change the Peak Gate Guard, I don't know, to have Guardian. But really do magic damage, big anti-large. We're not going to see these. The Dowie, we're never going to see these against as a Dowie, because why? But they, I think, are going to be common to protect Slan very specifically, because they have that Guardian ability and they have excellent stats and they're unbreakable. The Ancient Stegodon, this is one of the mounts that Tenenwan has, the Prophet of Sotek, and he can ride this thing. The ancient engine of the gods is actually really cool. It constantly it has like some abilities, but it constantly shoots lightning. I think that's the one that constantly shoots lightning, or no, maybe it's something else. This engine of the god has a special bounce spell, but it's just another big lizard essentially, just like all the others. I mean, except it causes poisonous attacks and it has a potent warding. So within 40 meters of it, 5% damage resistance. I mean, it's just another big lizard you need an answer for, really. And arcane configuration, improved power recharge rate. If it's on the field, that's like one of the Tomb King's big. I think it's the Tomb Kings have that big Colossus type thing that shoots laser beams from its size. I think it has this too, power recharge rate. But another big lizard, same as all the rest. They die the same way to Dowie, so it's not a real worry as a dwarf. And that burning alignment causes moderate magical damage. I think it's the other one. It's called Thunder, something like that. I don't know. We'll get to it, but it's quite interesting because it just shoots random lightning all by itself, and you can't control it. But it's pretty powerful. It was really, really fun. Okay, so we got the Ancient Salamander. I don't know. Armor piercing, causes terror. Going to be hard to hit. You might see it as the dwarf. The flame attack doesn't really matter. But the fact that it's sort of short. Now, these regular salamanders, armor piercing. Like when you get these things that are armor piercing missile damage, that's anything armor piercing you're going to see at some point. Someone's going to try and use that against the Dowie, even though it's flame. And you got the Umbral. Tide, I don't know if I saw these guys at all. I mean, they have stock and perfect vigor is what it looks like. And the thunderous, that thunderous one, the Ancient Stegodon, it has that ability. It just randomly shoots lightning, and its missile damage is high. You can see it's 898 and poisonous. And armored, I imagine that's an anti-infantry trait. So I think you're going to see this periodically. There was one game, it got a ton of kills. Really interesting. Now the Ripperdactyls, now are these the ones with the just a regular Ripperdactyls? These aren't the one with the enhanced bombs, but they are anti-infantry, armor piercing, 90 speed, 44 melee attack, and 52 charge bonus. I mean, they're going to have 96 melee attack plus their anti-infantry bonus, which will probably put them over 100 against the Dowie. We're going to see these. So Ripperdactyl riders, but they have very low armor. Again, another reason to bring an extra unit of maybe not quarters, but quarters, rangers. Sort of, you don't need armor piercing to deal with these new units as the Dowie. You just need a little bit more missile pressure. And these Ripperdactyls, we should be able to do just fine against them. I'm not terribly worried about any of the new units here, to be perfectly honest. I think it's just I think it's more of the same. I think the Dowie are still going to have an advantage in this matchup. Maybe there's a lot more builds you're going to have to face though as the Dowie, but because they could bring like 6 Ripperdactyl riders or try and do something like that. But they have 22 melee defense, and they're large. I mean, these are on the ground. They're going to get out, and 45 armor, 22 melee defense, and large. One group of Slayers will absolutely slaughter them. So, I don't see any problems with the Lizardmen here. I'm definitely much more worried about the Skaven than the Lizardmen. I think the Lizardmen are just more of the same. As far against the Dowie, now they did really good in this tournament. Here's these Paho Sentinels, Pterodon riders. I think they have the enhanced bombs, 96 missile damage. Now it looks like they only have the one, but boy, it did do a ton of damage. And Regiment of Renown, but you're not going to see these guys. And no armor piercing here, so you won't see these as the Dowie, but I think you're going to see them periodically in the. Yeah, they have Sunder armor, The bombardment, or maybe it's Colossus Hunters that you're gonna see. They have armor piercing. We'll see. This looks like this. This can be used over and over and over. Let's see. Is that a bomb? Oh, it's anti-large, so you're probably not gonna see it. There we go. Toad Rage. Ah, it can be used over and over. Plus 40% weapon damage, plus 40% armor damage for 18 seconds, and you rampage? Oh my god, yeah, you might see these against the Dowie. And what is there? 52 melee attack and 31 melee defense? Holy. It's a pretty good charge bonus. I didn't realize they were that good. You know, it doesn't look like they have any bombs, but and they have no range, but they could certainly get some damage done if a 52 melee attack. Yeah. Or 52 charge bonus, 52 melee attack. Yep. And here is the Bastillon, the Ark of Sotek, I thought it would be like a Mortis engine, and then I saw that it was going to do poison. It's a combination. When you click this, it does poison damage and it does damage in a radius. So it's sort of like a combination Mortis engine. It's not like not like the Mortis engine where it has to be in combat to recharge this. So we'll see. I'll try and pause it on there, but I mean, again, 250 weapon strength. It's just another dinosaur. I mean, it doesn't really worry. It's nothing to worry about as the Dowie. I mean, you can kill it like every other big dino. Here it is, Ark of Sotek. Around yourself, it causes minor damage. Does not affect friendly troops. And this is that Lord Croak ability too. He has one spell and that's it, and it's like a nuke, but it doesn't hurt. It's like the protection of Itza or something like that. It's a nuke, but the thing is, it doesn't affect lizardmen like this. It does not affect friendly troops. So this Ark of Sotek poisons and it does damage. It's weak against armor, but it does not affect friendly troops. I don't see a radius here. Poison. It's a vortex, eh? But it lasts for 28 seconds, so it's sort of like a Mortis engine, which is interesting. And it's a clickable, so you don't have to be in combat to use it or to recharge it, and it recharges in 60 seconds. And lastly, these are the Hopak cohorts, Cold One Spear Riders. Anti-large, armor piercing, not the greatest stats in the world. You know, I don't know what their thing is. Immune psychology, cause fear, vanguard deployment. Yeah, I guess it's vanguard deployment is their thing. They don't seem to be particularly special in any other way. They look good, but they don't seem to be all that worrisome, to be perfectly honest. And again, lizardmen, when it comes to fighting as the Dowie, it's just more of the same. The Skaven are dramatically different, and that is the sort of the list of all the units, and you know, sort of the summary of the day. So again, I would recommend, if you haven't seen it, watch it. The commentary is outstanding, and some of the stuff I learned from Sotek. I watch his channel, and it's still stuff I learn all the time. Every time he goes through, he really was shining today. Did an excellent job and carried the morning when they were having all these technical difficulties with sort of lore stories. And him and Jan on occasion were good together as commentators, very, very good. And Italian in turn were outstanding, like they always are as commentators. And you know, it was a fun day. Some great fights. Unfortunately, no dwarf action. Like I said, if there's good, like even though there's no dwarf mains in tomorrow's semifinals and finals, you could see some Dowie, because I wouldn't be afraid to bring the dwarfs up against the Skaven, and definitely would love to bring them up against the Lizardmen and up against the Tomb Kings. So if I could get that matchup, I would be perfectly happy with it. I mean, not against this caliber of player. These guys are, you know, unbelievably good, but you know, we might see one of them sort of playing that game and thinking about it, and then hopefully we get to see some unit cards and see if the Dowie have changed at all. Anyways, that's the summary of the day's events, of the units and their unit cards, and sort of how I see them matching up against the Dowie. and the action for tomorrow. So I hope you found that interesting. I hope you can be there tomorrow. I was on YouTube all day. I mean, just going through, I would join the chat on the YouTube chat once in a while. It's a kind of puttering around the house here. So I'd love to see you there. It was a 9 a.m. Central Standard Time start. I thought it was 10 for some reason. And anyways, I would, I would guess tomorrow is going to be really, really good. The players that are fighting are outstanding, and the final is going to be amazing. Either way, there's no way that no matter who wins in the semis, that the final is not going to be epic. And the consolation battle, it's going to be epic too, actually, because no matter how these run out, these players are outstanding. So hope you found that interesting. Love to hear some comments down below if you watched it, what you thought of it, and what you thought of Lore Master Sotek's debut in England, and what you think the Dowie matchup is going to be like with the new Skaven and the new Lizardmen. Love to hear it. So with that said, I will see you soon.